talk to you all a little bit about the summer camp that we offer here, but more importantly, how can we get better at public speaking, right? That's why we're all here today, to understand how we can express ourselves with more confidence and more efficacy. So, a little bit about me. I am, as Vivian mentioned, I am the main course developer here, as well as one of the instructors, and I went to University of Toronto. I'm a member of the Canadian Association of Professional Speakers and CAPS, and I guess I just liked public speaking for a long, long time, because I've heard stories of myself that my mom has told me where I was 5 years old and I just ran up on stage so I could grab the microphone and speak. So I don't know. I think there's just something about it that I always just really liked. I couldn't tell you why, but I did eventually in high school find some more appropriate ways to get on stage and talk, and I was participating in a lot of youth groups and youth leadership organizations where I got the opportunity to help train other teenagers like myself to become more comfortable with speaking and leadership. And this is a graduation ceremony that we had where the mayor of Markham was, we were very lucky to have him attend as well. When I was in university, I also held workshops. We had local Toastmasters members in attendance, U of T students, and just anybody who was interested in learning more about communication. So I do have quite a bit of experience talking with a variety of audience, but primarily working with younger kids, like you guys. And today my presentation is going to focus on, number one, the importance of public speaking for kids. So not just the importance of public speaking, but why you guys, why kids, right? I don't know if you guys like to be called kids, but young folks like yourself. I wanted to talk about our approach to public speaking and our philosophy on it and how we think the number one best way to approach public speaking is. And also I wanted to talk a little bit about the summer camp that we're offering this year. So, the importance of public speaking for kids. Well, number one, why learn public speaking and communicating? And as I said, why young people? And I think the first one is very simple. Number one is humans are social creatures. I don't think anybody can argue with this fact, is that people rely on each other to survive and to thrive and be happy, right? Our friends and our family are key to our happiness and success in the world. And so being able to communicate with them is crucial, right? We've all heard stories of families or friendships breaking apart because of poor communication or people not communicating their needs and emotions with each other. This is so key for us to live good lives, right? Also, confidence and character. Well, nothing builds confidence like going up in front of 300 people and speaking, right? So when we're able to get up and in front of a lot of people and become that sort of leadership position and to talk to people, what that does is it builds your confidence and it builds your character. And what that does in turn is it pushes you to pursue other opportunities, right? So not all of us think that we can be leaders. We might sit there thinking, no, I don't want to apply for this leadership position because I don't think I can. But when you bring yourself to talk in front of so many people and become effortless and think it's easy, then we think to ourselves, hey, you know what? Maybe I can apply for that leadership position and maybe I can do it, right? It builds your confidence in other areas of your life. Now, second question, why kids? Why young people like yourselves? Well, number one, young people have a lot of really cool ideas, right? When I'm teaching my students, I have heard so many interesting and unique ideas come out of their little mouths, and they have such interesting speech topics as well. Some of them want to talk about why pirates are amazing. Some of them just learned about a video game and they want to talk about it. Some of them have learned about a cool new concept on YouTube that they want to share. And some of them just want to talk about Minecraft. But whatever it is, you guys are constantly discovering new things every day because you're growing up and a lot of things are new to you, right? And when you get these ideas, you want to express them, right? Many of you as parents have probably heard, Mom, I want to talk to you about this thing. Mom, I learned something new. You want to hear something funny, right? There's always something that they want to talk about. Number two is expressing needs, right? When you're an adult, you can take care of yourself, hopefully, right? We can cook our own food, we can get our own food, we can earn our own money. But as younger people, you have limited ability to do that. And so you have to get used to expressing your needs, right? So, this is not just, oh, Mom, I need fried chicken and Valorant. No, it's also, Mom, I need to talk. I need help, right? I think the ability to ask for help and ask for things that we need is so important, right? Because a lot of us as adults can probably relate to, sometimes we difficult asking other people for help, that we feel difficult expressing our pain to other people and we don't want to talk about it, right? But being open about that is critically important for mental health. And I think that's something we start to build at a young age, this ability to communicate our feelings. And the last reason is very simple, because you guys are young. You have a lot of time to practice, right? The more time you have to practice anything, the more better you can be, right? And because you guys are young, you have lots and lots of years ahead of you, and so there's lots of opportunity for you to grow and compete and try new things and do more stuff related to public speaking. Now, I really love comparing public speaking to swimming for two reasons. Well, number one, we all know that swimming is difficult, and in order to get good at swimming, you have to practice. You have to practice a lot, right? But the other thing is, I meet a lot of students and a lot of parents who tell me, you know, I'm not sure we really need to practice public speaking or take a public speaking class because, you know, my child already really loves talking, right? And that's awesome, right? And not everybody needs a public speaking class, and it's great when kids love expressing themselves. I think that's amazing. But the reason I love comparing it to swimming is because, well, take me for an example. Whenever as a kid, my family in the summer, we'd go to a lake. We'd go to Lake Simcoe for a picnic, and I loved it. It was my favorite thing ever, and as soon as I got out of the car, I'd run right to the water and get my feet in the water, and I loved being in the water so much. That's all I wanted to do. But I'm a very bad swimmer. I'm not good at swimming, right? So even though I like the water, I'm not good at swimming. Similarly, you can really enjoy expressing yourself and talking. You can be a very talkative person and you can really enjoy going up in front of people, but that doesn't mean that you can write a very captivating and effective and clear speech, right? Some of you parents who have very talkative young ones might understand, right? You might want to talk a lot, but maybe the logical flow can make more sense. Maybe the speech can be more organized. There's always something that we can improve, right? Just because we love talking, which is awesome, doesn't mean that we can do it as clearly yet. Okay, so next, what is our approach to public speaking? Our approach really can be summarized in one simple word: practice. That's all it really is. It's not much of a secret, and I know it applies to everything, but it's just that. I think for a lot of people, they tend to think of public speaking as something different, right? Piano, yes, we know to get better at piano. It's just you've got to practice every day, right? An hour or 2 hours at the piano, and for sure you are going to get better. But for public speaking, people think, oh, maybe I can read a book about public speaking and get better, right? That's why there's so many books out there about how to get better at public speaking. And those books are good, but you can't just read the book. You can't just read a book about piano and know how to play, right? It comes down to practice. So specifically though, how do we practice? So our approach is as follows. When we look at a speaker, let's think of it as a tree, right? For this tree, we have the part that we can see and the part that we can't see, right? This is you and I. This is a person. This is us as a public speaker, as a presenter. So the part that we can see is the presentation, right? What does the presentation comprise of? The presentation comprises of two components: the content, so the stuff that I'm saying, as well as the skills and techniques. That's how I say it, right? So the content is the information that I'm giving you right now, whereas the skills and techniques might include the fact that I'm using my voice in a certain way, or that I use my body language in a certain way, or that I made a PowerPoint. This is a technique, right? I don't have to have a PowerPoint, but it helps. So this is the part that you can see. Now, there's also a part that we don't see, and this part is not any less important than this, right? We would say that the roots are probably even more important than up here. So what is so important that it supports all of this? Well, these supporting qualities include things like character, right? Character, we have courage and confidence. These things immensely support your ability to be a good public speaker, right? Without a sense of confidence and without a sense of courage, it's hard for us to want to go up in front of so many people and express our thoughts, right? Another part of this is health. And I don't just mean physical health. Obviously, physical health is important because if you're not feeling well, it's hard for you to project your voice. It's hard for you to stand up really tall and see everybody, right? But another part of health that's really important is your mental health. if you're mentally well and you take good care of yourself, if you yourself are loved, then that opens up more room in your heart to love other people, right? And to take care of other people and want to spread good messages, right? And if you take good care of yourself, then you can take good care of others. Literacy. Literacy is also a huge supporting block of public speaking, because if you don't read a lot, then you don't have very big vocabulary, right? Like as you young people, you guys probably, hopefully, read a lot, right? But when you read, you learn new words, you learn about new concepts, you're constantly learning things from other people's writing, because we don't have time to hear everybody talk. Sometimes we have to read it, right? And so literacy is a big building block, because with these words, now you can use them in your way to express your thoughts, right? So a strong vocabulary is a really good example of why literacy is important. So I think Dr. Bain will be talking more about the book and movie camp later and his approach to writing, and that ties in with literacy. But for now, let's continue with public speaking. So let's take a look at what we sort of cover over here in Speech Go. So these are the things that I think encompass the part that you can see. So for example, in our classes and in our summer camp, we talk about things like, how can we write a good persuasive speech? If we want to persuade people to do something, to believe something, or to think a certain way, how can we frame an argument that they are going to buy, that they're going to believe? Interview skills. I'm sure all the parents know how important interview skills are. This is a little bit more relevant for high school students, because younger students don't have a lot of opportunities to practice interviews, but it is really important, and it is something that's good to know. Improving your description, storytelling, presenting with PowerPoints, kind of like I'm doing right now, especially for high school students. This is so important. I don't know how many of you here are in high school or went to high school in Canada, but I had to do a lot of PowerPoint presentations when I was in high school and university. So it is a huge part of the curriculum nowadays, and it's very important to know how to create a good one, an effective one. Because I cannot tell you, when I teach my high school students how to make good PowerPoints, so many of them come back to me and they say, Tristan, I'm so glad you taught this to me, because we did a presentation in school and everybody just wrote their entire speech on the PowerPoint. They just put their whole speech there and they just stood there reading the speech from the PowerPoint, right? But that's not what a PowerPoint is, right? And we talk about that in class. So, speech structure, how do we organize our speech to make it make better sense, to make it more effective? Debate and argumentation. Some of you may be more interested in debate, and that's awesome. Debate is great. I used to do a little bit of debate. But here we do some debate, we don't focus on it, but it is a really good tool to help us to practice speaking. And techniques for effective delivery, and so on and so forth. So these are things that I think are important to know to be a good public speaker, on the part that you can see, the presentation, and this is stuff that I cover in all of my classes. Now the part that you can't see, we also spend quite a bit of time talking about these concepts. So for example, what is confidence? I've thrown out this word a lot today, confidence, but what is it? How do we define confidence? Is confidence simply believing that you are better than other people? Or is confidence having an innate belief in yourself that if you work hard, you can do it, right? What is confidence? Dealing with negative emotions, right? We have lots of discussions with students. How do we deal with anger? How do we deal with embarrassment? How do we deal with rejection, like when our parents say no to us? How do we deal with that? Right? So there's a lot of things, and I think it's so important for people to learn from a young age how to handle negative emotions, because we can't protect we can't protect kids from feeling bad things. That's just going to happen in life, and we need to know how to deal with that. Expressing needs and desires, we talked a little bit about this earlier, and we go more in depth in class. People skills, what does it mean to have people skills, and what does it mean to be tactful, right? These are really important things for when you guys grow up and make more friends, get jobs, and interact with a lot of people. How do you build these skills now that you're going to take with you for the rest of your life? So we cover all of this and a lot more. And so this is just sort of a snapshot of the things that I think are really important to develop and the things that we do actually talk about here. So basically, to summarize, it's just practice, 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 right? And that's exactly what we do in our programs, right? That's essentially our only philosophy, is to practice these things. So I want to talk to you a little bit about what we do at our camp, right? And we've run this camp for many years now with great success, I would say. And we have a lot of students who really enjoyed their time here. Like some of them didn't want to go. Some of them wanted to keep coming back, but we only offered it for July, so they couldn't come back for August, right? A lot of students really enjoyed the games that we played in class, because the games that we do in class are not just games. They're games with a very specific goal. They aim at helping you develop your speaking, your expression. They're games that make it fun for you to express, because some students are a bit more shy and they need something fun to push them, right? And it's always more fun to learn through games, right? Some students really felt that the class was an encouraging, a positive environment that they would share with their friends, which was really, great feedback for me. It was really happy for me to know that a lot of my students would go and recommend the camp to their friends, because some students, they don't like taking summer camp, which is understandable. You guys have time off of school and you like to spend it at home, right? But sometimes camp can be fun. And I want to show you some pictures as well of things that we do at camp. So for example, these are from just last summer actually. So this is like the younger grade, and we did lots of storytelling activities that really use your imagination, that force you to think outside the box and be really creative with your responses while doing group work and public speaking. For the older grades, sometimes we would do things like debate, right? We would focus on debate, making good quality, strong arguments. We did design thinking, which is basically trying to create an imaginary product, which is a great exercise for especially younger students to really think about things, have a logical flow, and present in a group setting. This was another debate that we did with the older students, more storytelling exercises, and we also had a little speech competition. Every Friday, we had all the students use what they learned throughout the week and make a speech to compete, right? So we had them all write the speech in class, and then we would do a competition. We might try something new this year, but this is something we did last year and they loved it, so I will try my best to incorporate this as well. So this was really awesome. People had a great time. The high school students got to prepare a PowerPoint speech as well with their speech. And yeah, we had some winners. It was really fun, and last summer was truly an amazing experience. So I would really love to share that with you guys. But for now, I think this is kind of a wrap on the public speaking segment of it. Next, I really wanted to introduce our book and movie camp instructor, Dr. Bei Chin. He is awesome, and our students love him, and you guys are gonna love him too. So let's welcome up Dr. Bei.
Thank you.